We are joined for a special episode. We can't name it High and Tight, even though we did a little High and Tight intro, but we can't name it High and Tight because we have two great ones on here. I say the one and only. There's a guy in the background there. The one and only Cole, Cole Ledger and Jamie Nail, Maryland, Delaware's finest. Cole is joining us from an unknown airport where he is actually headed to interview to fill the vacancy for Mike Gundy's position. So go Pokes. Cole's gonna interview staff members, and he's gonna start with the guys in the stands that take the shirt off and swing them around their head as offensive and defensive coordinators. But no, Cole's in the airport, so but he will obviously be bringing dynamite insight as always, and as always here, joined by Jordan Jones, Virginia DC Assistant Scouting Director. We're here today to talk about the Mid-Atlantic State games. Jamie, what year is this? Fifth, sixth, something like? Is it sixth?
I believe it's the sixth official Mid-Atlantic State games because prior to this was what Virginia uncommitted games. It wasn't that kind of the
Yeah,
same.
it was just. I think it was just Virginia. I think it was just Virginia State games in 1 year.
Yeah.
Before that, I'm not sure. That was way too many events ago to remember that. But so we are back with state games in the fall, as we had previewed for the invites and all that stuff. New location. We have moved to the Richmond area, Central Virginia, centrally located. We will be at 3 fields. We'll be at the 2 fields at Iron Bridge and then Arc on Saturday. And then on Sunday, all games at Iron Bridge facility. College coaches, if you're available and legal this weekend for you to be out on the road, we would love to have you. Workouts and gameplay at those 3 fields on Saturday. And again, on Sunday, all games will be at Iron Bridge. So it's a loaded event. We have, I guess we probably shouldn't get into this, but we have over 200 and some registered and then about 180 some on roster. No, that sounds crazy, but it's a drop-a-thon this time of year. So shout out to those fun times and roster changes. And kind of to preface that, we're going off of the rosters that are current as of this morning, Monday, October 27th at 10:30. That'll probably change at 10:45 once we go back and check the email. But these are the rosters that are current as of right now. And we're just going to dive into it here. We got a few questions for the guys, and then we're going to get into just kind of what stands out about some of the teams. We're rolling stories all week. If you want more information or video or data or whatever on those players or players to watch, go to those stories. 2 teams rolling every day. We started with team 1 and 2 last week, and we'll have a ton of content coming out as we prep for state games. Jamie, I'm gonna start with you. The real head guy in charge here amongst all of us. What have state games become to you?
Yeah, I mean this is what my, I guess, 6th year with prep baseball. This event has always been one of the more fun ones all year long, and I think the way that we get the Maryland talent down to Richmond is great. And this year, when you're looking at overall numbers and overall talent wise, in my opinion, this is the most talented roster out of Maryland, Delaware that we're taking down there. Each team out of the 12 that we have a ton of Maryland talent spread out throughout. When we go down here and we play these games and the workouts to start out the weekend, it's a lot of fun. And you see a ton of talent, obviously, out of Virginia. But like I said, this year, it's immense talent out of Maryland and Delaware. So can't wait to get down there and see a lot of it. We've seen a lot of these guys throughout the summer and throughout the fall. I saw a bunch yesterday at my Last Chance ID that's making the drive again this weekend coming up. But that's what it is. It's kind of the last bang of the fall. before these guys really shut down. And we've seen it be extremely successful, and we're looking forward to another one this weekend. I had a feeling you were going to do that. I was iron.
All right, that's the only one. That's the only one. We found some new buttons on here, and I'll just get that one out of the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, just kind of on that note, like, do you think, and we've had a good showing of Maryland and Delaware players the past few years when we've been at the beach. Do you think, and it may be a combination, do you think moving it to Richmond like just helped with proximity, or do you think it's the obvious growth that is happening with prep baseball in Maryland, or, kind of a little column A, little column B?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. We have great facilities down there in Richmond, and I think a lot of guys enjoy going down there and playing. I mean, you're talking about this year at IB, you're looking at ARC, you're looking at all turf fields. Guys want to play at big time spots, and I think it's a great opportunity for these guys. But then, like you said, I think the talent pool just continues to grow, especially in Delaware. You got a bunch of Delaware guys traveling down this weekend. We haven't had a ton of Delaware talent over the past few years. This year, I think you're seeing a lot more. And then another thing with that is what we've seen in the past. We've seen a lot of guys come down here and make a first real initial impression prior to that calendar year switching over. And you see a lot of guys come to this Mid-Atlantic State games and then be a part of our future games teams. We've had a lot of that in the past. I think you're seeing a lot of 2028 talent come down here this weekend, and I'm going to talk about a few players in that class here in a second. But it's an initial outside of the super sophomore games here in the fall. You're seeing this 28 class that's there for the future games next summer really make that first impression and kind of on a at least regional stage be able to compete with all of this talent down there. I think that's another thing that's huge that we've seen at least last year, and I can really look forward to it this year as well.
And that leads into the godfather of Delaware baseball. It's a great segue, Jamie, talking about the growth in Delaware. Cole Ledger. Cole, what are some players that you're looking forward to seeing the most? And hold on,
yeah.
Preface this real quick. Everybody's got to remember we have like over 200, players registered for this event, or 185 on roster or whatever. So like Cole's not going to be able to sit here and talk about 200 players. But like, what are a handful of players that you're looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, so I think it comes down to a lot of, you look at the amount of 2028 talent, as Jamie said, that's coming down this weekend. A couple of these guys were down with us in North Carolina for super sophomore games. We get another look at them. Some of them we haven't seen since that event. And I just think it's going to be a really good identifier for future games. I mean, even with Virginia guys, but, obviously I'm a little bit more into the Maryland and Delaware side. So I look at, we'll get further into teams as we go, but guys like Amani Ukai-T80, guys like Brandon Toadvine, guys who we haven't really been able to see since the summer. This is going to be our big look here into the fall. And then you look at some future game guys that are coming down. You look at a guy like Sam Reed, who's coming down, and another guy that is an uncommitted senior up to 88, Noah Ryan, who impressed me and Jamie at the Maryland uncommitted games. I think it's just a lot of, and we'll get more into it as we go, especially on the arm side. I think there's a lot of good arm uncommitted talent coming down to this event, but I think that this event will be big for these 2028s, kind of getting on our radar heading into the preseason as we start to build our kind of watch list for the spring.
Yeah, and talking about Noah Ryan, as has happened for the past few weeks, we've had some drops and stuff, and he had come to an event of y'all's, and I think that night he like sent me an email, and he was like, "Hey, I'd love to get into this event, this, that, and the other." And obviously, we don't cross over states on a whole lot of guys. And so I was like, all right, let me go look at his profile. And I wasn't going to bother Jamie. And I went and looked at his profile, and, he's listed at 6'2", 200 pounds, physical, good frame. And I saw he was up to like 88, 89 and uncommitted 26. Went and looked at a little video. I emailed him back. I was like, yeah, you can register right now. And I called. I think after that, I called Jamie or texted Jamie. He was like, yeah, he was like one of the best arms or the best arm at the event that we had today. And he was really, really good. So excited to get a chance. And I don't know. Yeah, I'll get a chance to see him. I know some guys are playing at some different sites on Saturday, but we'll get a chance to see him. He looks like he's throwing on Sunday. Now, Jordan, same question as Cole. What players are you looking forward to seeing the most?
Yeah, and like a mix of some 2027s and 2028s that really impressed me throughout late part of the summer, late part of the fall. One guy, 2027, Eric Flores from Heritage High School. He's really shown some offensive production on the back end of the fall. So it's good to see him again as we head into the new calendar year. 2027, Xavier Ty. We got a chance to see him on the back end of the fall as well. Uncommitted right-hand arm from Rappahannock, getting to mid-upper 80s. Just knows how to pitch, attack the zone. So excited to see him, get some more data on him. It's been a while since we've seen him. So we get to see him. Then 2028, Cole Plummer from Highland, East Coast super sophomore guy, physical right-hander. I think they definitely have some upside on the mound. We get to see him again. And then for the first time, I get to see Trent O'Malley up in person at an event. Just very high upside, two-way guy that we're super, super excited about. So get some data on him as we head into the new calendar year as well.
Yeah, for sure. I was pretty excited to have a chance to get O'Malley there. Team USA got a guy that we've seen in events and, I say events, tournaments and high school games and stuff like that, but just getting a chance, like you said, to get some data on him, to see BP, to see the run, to get an idea on some of those measurables to kind of pair it along with the gameplay stuff. Jamie, I'm going to come back to you. Who are some maybe under the radar older guys? I know and not that Noah Ryan's under the radar. He's a big boy to be under the radar and pretty good. But maybe under the radar older guys or some younger guys, just some guys to kind of watch out for that maybe some people don't know about yet.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily that they don't know him yet. And the first guy I'm going to talk about is an older guy in the 27 class. A part of Future Games last year that really blew up at Future Games, and that's Sam Reed out of the Heights School. Big, long levers, 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". Impressed us a ton at Future Games last year, but I say under the radar because he's not a guy that necessarily plays on a national team and on a national scale across the summer or across the fall. You don't see him a ton throughout the spring at the Heights School, but it's a guy that impressed us throughout the summer. Took him down to Future Games, runs the fastball into the upper 80s. You can absolutely dream on the frame. There's a little bit of strength there as well. But that's a guy that I think going off of the Future Games and coming into the fall, I think it's another huge opportunity for him to get down here and perform and impress in multiple facets that he did at Future Games. And then kind of diving into the 28 class, I know Cole talked about a couple of them. I'm going to stay in Delaware for this first one, Reese O'Halloran. This is a guy that we saw a ton throughout the summer, impressed immensely at a Salisbury tournament in late September. Really like that hit tool from the left side. There's some physicality there in the frame. Listed at 5'10", 175. There's athleticism. I think it's a guy that can really impact the game on both sides of the ball, but definitely impressed there in tournaments. We've never seen him at an event, so definitely excited to get him down here, get some metrics, throughout BP, throughout the positional workout, and then see him in game. But it's definitely a guy that impressed us throughout the summer. That leads into another 2028 guy that I saw yesterday at our last chance ID event. Explosive power upside, Bradley Burkhart out of Glenelg High School in that 28 class, listed 6'3", 200. He's every bit of that. Backspin to the gaps. It was very impressive, eye-opening BP rounds yesterday. There's some barrel awareness there. The power upside is through the roof. Staying in that 28 class, another guy that we saw last weekend at our uncommitted games, and that's McGuire Moore. Jason, you and I have talked a ton about McGuire Moore. You saw him actually before I ever did, I believe at a scout day. And you texted me right after that event and you said, hey, this guy's pretty good. I got to get eyes on him. We saw him a little bit throughout the summer playing with the O-liners in a couple tournaments in Salisbury. Definitely impressed us in game. And then metrically, last weekend throughout BP, throughout the defensive portion, you really liked it. There's plenty of versatility. I think he definitely encompasses that word. I think he signed up for every position down there this weekend. So glad that we're able to see him perform in every aspect of the game, but definitely impressed Cole and I last weekend at the uncommitted games. It was both during BP. In game, you really like the swing. So another guy highly athletic that really impacts the baseball. Last guy for me, another guy that I saw yesterday at our Last Chance ID that we've seen over the past year or so, Cole, and that's James Bowman out of Delaney High School. This is a guy that continues to get stronger, continues to get bigger, get faster. The athleticism is really starting to get to open my eyes, and the power upside was through the roof yesterday. Really like that barrel. It was a heavy barrel. It was quick hands at the plate. And definitely impacted the baseball at a high rate. So James Bowman, another one out of that 28 class. And Cole kind of said it earlier with how much talent we're taking down out of this 28 class between Maryland and Delaware. It's definitely, the talent's through the roof, and we're really looking forward to seeing it.
All right. Cole, coming back to you, kind of switching gears. I know last time, and we've been probably a little bit heavier talking on players to kind of open up. Your role and involvement like with prep baseball has, really taken off. And I felt like it's been like your growth has happened along with our growth, but it might actually, our growth might have happened because of your growth, especially in that Maryland, Delaware area. I think Jamie would agree with that, you've been such a huge help to that area. But with that being said, your time kind of started when this event kind of just came into Virginia, or was just kind of making its way in, and being accompanied with Maryland, Delaware. Like, what would you say about the growth of this event?
Yeah, so first I'm going to preface, apologies to everyone watching. I know you may see me moving. I'm trying to save the sun from being blocked by everything and everything possible. So
you look amazing.
You're working on over here.
You're like an angel with the light coming down behind you.
This is the best one.
I think I might have. I was looking for like I was looking for that sound, but I couldn't find that one.
I think I may have picked the worst spot in this airport. Just prefacing that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the growth of the event, I mean, we continue to see the player count rise and rise every year. The talent continues to get better and better. And like, you talked about earlier, obviously making the switch from Virginia Beach to Richmond, sometimes making change, there's always questions when making change. And I think overall, things have definitely gone in a positive direction. I mean, I think this is my fourth Mid-Atlantic State Games. I think I started in 22. That was my first one as an intern. And you just see year over year, and especially obviously in Maryland and Delaware, you start to see the rise of the amount of players and the percentage of players that are willing to come down and try to show off in front of these college coaches. We're able to get college coaches out there. So these 2026s and these uncommitted seniors that come down, this is really a good opportunity for them to be seen in front of all of these Division IIIs. I know Virginia has a lot of Division IIIs, and especially Maryland as well, a lot of high-level Division IIIs. But then you have these 2027s that kind of just started the recruiting process. So you're kind of getting your name out there in front of these schools that are going to start to kind of make their lists heading into next spring, and guys that they're going to want to watch. And as I said earlier, these 2028s getting ready for that part next year on August 1st. Getting ready for future games, qualification, everything like that. I just think the growth of the event has been really beneficial for this entire Mid-Atlantic region, from the back end stuff to the stories to everything. We try to push out as much content as we can for this, try to highlight as many players as we can. Obviously, with it being over 200 players, as you said, can't exactly highlight everyone, but I think this is a very beneficial event, as we've said in the past, for this uncommitted talent, and that's why we get such high-level talent at this event every year.
What a grand answer from the guy really in the limelight. I will say that we get a lot of questions every year about like, hey, it's a dead period and this, that, and the other. And, should I go to camp or should I come to the event? That's like, I'm not going to sit here. I will never tell a kid like, hey, you have to come to our event. Okay. Do I think it's very beneficial? Yes. If there's a school that is, and this is what I tell everybody, so it's no secret here, being, pretty transparent. If there's a school that's, hey, we need to get you on campus, we're on the, we're on the verge for 2027. Like there might be an offer coming, that day or whatever, or there's been a lot of interest and a lot of communication and they're just kind of trying to seal and button things up. Like, absolutely. You should go to camp or you should, on campus during that time, because, that's a situation where that may be a school that you really want to go to, and that may kind of seal the deal for you. If there's not much traction happening, like instead of going maybe to a camp that you don't have any communication with and there's not any recruiting traction with them, with just, a camp with just like one school or something like that, why would you not come to the event that has the best social media coverage? And I know like people say, oh, well, social media coverage. We're around college coaches and pro scouts and stuff like that on a weekly basis. And when you're sitting around them, guess what they're doing like 50% of the time? And I say that like sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. They're on their phone, on Twitter, on X, and they're scrolling their feed. And guess what pops up on their feed? Hey, this uncommitted 27 was 88 to 90, touched 91, was a pretty good breaking ball. Or this kid ran a 6.5 60 or whatever. Like, we're serving the masses. And when I say masses, like we're serving all of the schools. Yes, you would probably eventually, have to get on campus and have to get on the phone and start that recruiting process and stuff. But like we can broaden that scope. We can broaden that direction of that recruitment, as opposed to maybe, again, if there's not any traction and you have a super narrow focus and you're not gaining anything with that, like that's where we can help. So there's a lot of different avenues to go about in a recruitment. But I know, again, people have some worry about this being a dead period. Like that dead period doesn't affect us because that's what we're here for. We're here, like Cole said, to promote the players, to put players, on that pedestal, if you will. But also at the same time, like those players have to perform in order to get that recognition, if you will. So Jordan, I'm going to come to you, and this will be our last thing before we really get into some of the team stuff. In your evaluation process, here we go. Just keep flipping around. What do gameplay events mean to you in the evaluation process? We all know the metrics and what you should look for in 60s and hand speed and bat speed and all those different things. But like, how much does gameplay events and just gameplay in general play into your evaluation process that makes this event so much more important or more value than others, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's one of the more important pieces for me in my evaluation process. Yes, on the workout day, we get data, to get your 60 exits, all that stuff. We can see that stuff. And, we'll, before gameplay, we'll see that data and break down, okay, this is the guy I probably need to lock in on, because those give you those initial tools that we look for. And then when it comes to gameplay, all right, let me circle this kid's name, let me lock in on him, see how these tools actually show up in game. The BP workout stuff, that's awesome, but that stuff has to translate to gameplay at some point. And that's how, be successful in this game, showing that gameplay standpoint. Like college coaches, they love the workout stuff, but they want to see it in game as well. For them, for us, that's how we kind of evaluate players, especially in this gameplay part. So, and some with the workout piece as well, you can't really test a player's motor in a workout piece. So how fast a kid plays in game, that's another big evaluation part for college coaches. For us, how fast, the motor, the instincts. You can't see a lot of that stuff in the workout. So when it comes to evaluation piece for me, for us, gameplay is very important because that's where we can see and break down a lot of those things and tools.
Yeah, I talked to a player yesterday at Uncommitted Games about that afterwards. Hey, it's great to be a 6'5", 6'6" runner, but if you don't get on base and you don't steal any bags, and you're not, like you said, if you're not instinctive, if you're not aggressive, then what good does that 6'5", 6'6" do, right? I'll take the 7'0" guy who's, and I'll use like Evan Lee. Evan Lee's right there around a 7'0" run, and we were at Longwood yesterday, so kind of that comes to mind. Like, he's so aggressive. He's going to steal in the first 2 or 3 pitches. Every dirt ball, he's going to have a great secondary on, and he's going to be aggressive, and he's going to anticipate those reads. So, like, okay, well, now he plays a little bit quicker, maybe like a 6'8", 6'7", something like that. You look at a Casey Kadire, like, not an elite run tool, but he's so aggressive and so instinctive on the base paths. So those are some things. And why does this event, kind of trump some others at times, whether it's our summer state games or whether it's our fall state games or whatever? Well, because you're getting 2 games. You're getting 2 opportunities, one, on the workout day and then one the next day. You're getting 2 opportunities to prove yourself in game. We're getting 5 or 6 or whatever in-game at-bats. You're getting multiple innings defensively to show how that defensive, how those defensive tools play. So I think like that's why this event, to me, and these types of events, because you get to see them up close and personal and more one-on-one, and just get to see again how that player reacts and responds in game. And definitely in a different environment where maybe they aren't as comfortable because they're with a bunch of players they don't usually play with. And you just get to see how that individual stands out. All right. Now, the next thing, Jamie, do you have anything to add before we jump into talking about these teams?
I think Jordan handled that question really well. I think that in game, when you look at a workout, I think the workout in my eyes is the identifier, and it kind of allows me to highlight players, and then. Like Jordan said, you can highlight players off of the workout, but you're not going to put all your eggs into that basket until you see in-game stuff. And Jordan talked about the motor, and Jordan talked about, how do you play in-game? And I think that's the big thing for us, and that's why I love this event, because you can identify guys on Saturday morning, and you can highlight them a little bit, but you're not going to circle that guy until you see him in game. So I think that's why these gameplay events are so vital and so important, because we can see everything, and we can highlight guys off that workout, and then we can really solidify our thoughts after you see them in the game. Better
late than never with that banner. Had that guy typed up.
Yeah.
I always forget about that thing. Are y'all the same way, or y'all are on top of it?
Jason,
no, we're the exact same way. We're the exact same way.
Thanks, Cole.
No sugarcoating around here.
I knew I was a party in this feelings.
Thanks, Cole.
All right.
I thought my guy had my back. He's like, nah, Jason, Maryland does it right, man. We got the banner on there. We got everything. Cole said, no, we're the same way. We suck too. It's okay.
Too. So you're saying we're stuck. Okay. I'm going to boo that guy again. All right. All right. So again, like, team previews are coming out. We'll have all of them kind of grouped together on one page as they come out. But we have rolled out team 1, 2, 3, and 4. And by the time this rolls, my intention was Wednesday night. By the time this rolls, middle of the week this week, we'll probably have at least 6 to 8 teams previews out with, again, 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 coming out Thursday and Friday. It has every player on the roster, a link to their profile, the positions they're registered for, a high school they go to. We have some 5 players to watch for every single team. And then we will link this pod inside of each of those stories. And again, this will run on Twitter and YouTube, or X, I guess is what we have to say, X and YouTube on Wednesday night. Team 1, Jordan. Like, some of these teams are pretty easy pickings in terms of some things that stand out. But what would you say, just like 10 seconds, what would you say about Team 1 that stands out to you?
I think they have some athleticism up and down this roster. Some guys that can impact the baseball. So you give you a little some different type of versatility, offensively, defensively, whatever. But I think there's a position athleticism there that's really exciting to watch. That shows up in game as well as workout play.
I agree. The athleticism. There's some athletes and some like good bodies and some guys who have some like physical athleticism in the outfield, and then they have some arms as well. You got Denton, Reed, and Skalski throwing on Saturday. Pretty excited to see that. Jamie, anything to add there? I know you got a couple Maryland guys in there.
Yeah, literally a couple. We got 2 guys here on this team. Sam Reed, we already talked about. And then Grady Beaver. Grady Beaver is a guy that we haven't seen at an event, but you said physical outfielders with some athleticism. I think that encompasses Grady Beaver really, really well. Football player, so plenty of physicality, plenty of athleticism there. I loved him last spring. So another big time 2027 to watch on Team 1.
Yeah, outfielders. We don't have Bates's. I don't have Bates's measurables in here, but he's a pretty well put together dude. But 5'10", 170, 6'3", 205, 5'10", 180. Smith has some twitchy athleticism in the outfield. Aiden Smith. You got Aiden Tuck, 6'2", 175. You got Schnabel at first base, 6'2", 205. You got the 6'7" Sam Reed. So it's some good looking, like well put together players. Aiden Mills, 6'3", 180. So yeah, I like the athletic and physicality, athleticism and physicality of that team. All right, Team 2, Jordan, I'll come right back to you. I see some things that probably stand out a little bit about this one, but what do you got?
I think just up and down this roster, you have some hit tool bats in this lineup, got some physicality, got some high motor guys. Like Lewis Dunn has been on barrel since early spring. He's just continued to do that. You got Alex Thomas, Brody Cash. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You got Alex Thomas, Brody Cash, some high motor guys, just make some things happen, athletic, versatile. Chaz Walker, Ryan Baxmonsky, just some hit tool guys that can just make things happen. So I think there's some hit tool up and down this roster with some athleticism to make things happen offensively.
Yeah, a couple guys like you talking about hit, like Louis Barrels, like you said, Brody Cash, Grayson Morris, Ryan Baxmonsky, Hudson Howe, Chaz Walker. Like there's some dudes on this team that can hit a little bit. And then I guess you could say kind of 2 projection arms for me that I'm excited to see: Braden McNeil and Zach Goodwin. Goodwin's 6'4", McNeil's 6'3". They're long, lean, lanky, room to fill. And then, you got the big arm of Noah Ryan on Sunday. Jamie, anything to add on besides Ryan? I'm not sure. You got a couple Spalding guys here. Another Oakdale.
Yeah, Parker Dix, stay there right there in Oakdale. This is an arm that has really exploded over the summer. We saw him a little bit in the spring. We liked him in the spring. Really exploded over the summer. I know this is a big time arm that Cole has really liked over the summer. I saw him at a Mid Atlantic Red Sox Scout Day a couple weeks ago. Impressed there. And then going to the Spalding boys. Spalding, obviously, Jason, you even know how much talent Spalding produces. We got a couple young bucks on this team in Maddox Butts and Lucas Racha. Like both of those guys in that 28 class, haven't seen them a ton, but really looking forward to getting some in-depth looks on them this weekend. So a lot of talent here out of Maryland on this team, and then obviously Noah Ryan there on the back end on that rotation this weekend. So a lot of fun to watch with this team.
Jason, you even know how good those players are.
It's a Maryland team. It's a Maryland team. That's why I said it.
But, Jordan, I told you I was going to get him fired up.
Yeah, well, here we go. It doesn't take much.
No, and paired with Ryan and Parker Dix is Drew Britton, quality arm out of William Monroe. So excited to get a chance to see him as well. yeah, I really like the makeup of that team too. Cole, we're gonna jump over to you, Mr. Maryland Delaware, the godfather of the old line state, the Salisbury assassin. That's probably aggressive.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah,
Goodness.
yeah.
Salisbury assassin. He's got to put that into his Twitter bio.
Yeah.
The Salisbury assassin. It's good.
But Cole, team 3, what jumps out to you?
I mean, if there's one word I could use to describe this team, it would just be fun. Just from a Maryland Delaware perspective, you've got a couple pure hitters. You look at Reese O'Halloran, who Jamie already kind of talked about a little bit. You have Amani Ukai-T80. You have James Worrell. All three guys who put the ball in play, have the ability to turn singles into extra base hits. And then you have some power upside with Max Darby out of John Carroll. And I won't steal y'all's thunder a little bit, but just looking at some of the Virginia names on here, you've got 2 upper 80 teammates in Ryan Gaines and Cole Plummer. And then you look at a guy who I know Jordan was huge on at the MAPI this year, and that's Connor Lockhart, another super sophomore guy. Just top to bottom, this team is absolutely loaded, and I think it may be one of the more fun teams to watch throughout.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Mingo has been a little bit dinged up, and like he's healthy and he's ready to go. Like long levers. I mean, we talked about a little bit like the physicality with team 1. If you go to team 2, 6'3", 6'1", 6'3", 6'1", 6'1", 6'1", 6'1", 6'3", 6'4", 6'2". You come to team 3, 6'1", 6'2", 6'4", 6'3", 6'1". One that stands out that I am excited to see is Brock Hall, 6'8", 202, left-handed hitting first baseman. It runs like a 6'7". He's going to get a chance. I was looking at his matchups. He's going to get a chance to really, and he's done this, so it's not like he hasn't, but on a back-to-back, every at-bat basis, I looked at the arms that he was facing, and he's going to be facing 85 to 89-ish, somewhere in there, every single at-bat, both days, both games. So to see how he handles that, being 6'8" and being a hitter is not an easy task. And like, that's why one reason why somebody like Eldridge was such a phenomenon, because his ability to control his levers and things like that. So to see him hit and the way that he can move and get out of the box, excited to see Hall. But again, 6'8", 6'2", 6'4", 6'1", 6'2". Willard is another 2028. This team has some 2027 and 2028 arms that are going to be pretty exciting to watch. Charlie Harrington just absolutely fills it up. He'll probably roll out there and get like 12 outs and like 20 pitches. But Jordan, Jamie, anything to add on that team? I know we've kind of beaten that drum.
Yeah, just some physicality. Walker McElwain is another guy to look out for. Ball comes off a little different off his bat. So I'm excited to see him in gameplay as well.
Yeah, he can bang it.
I mean, I'm good. You guys covered it. Cole covered our guys really well. Max Darby, super sophomore alum that we love down there. I was really high on him. So looking forward to seeing him again. Amani, highly athletic outfielder there that can really go and get it. So a lot of fun to watch. I think Cole kind of encompassed that pretty well.
Jamie, it looks like you have two Maryland guys on team 4, it looks like, with Parrott and Bradley Burkhart. Anything you want to start with there? Just, I mean, I know you've seen O'Malley some, and you may have seen a few of these other guys. Anything initially for team 4?
Yeah, I mean, Burkhart, like I said, we saw him yesterday talking about Sunday at our last Chance ID event. Impressed in a ton of facets. I love the physicality in the frame. I love the power. It was one of the more consistent rounds all day long. And then you go to CJ Parrott, left-handed hitting catcher. We've seen the power upside as well. This was a guy that was at our Mid-Atlantic State games last year. Impressed a ton, has impressed us throughout the summer. Still raw in the talent, but the power upside that definitely opens up your eyes. So a lot of fun to watch from both of those guys. Like you said, we have seen Trent O'Malley playing with the O-liners over the past couple summers. So I've seen a lot of that on the bump. Haven't seen it a ton offensively, but another highly athletic two-way out of Virginia that's a lot of fun to watch.
Jordan, anywhere you want to go with that? I know you talked about Xavier Todd earlier. We talked about O'Malley some. Anything else to add? I'm looking at some of those arms, especially the ones that are going to roll out of there on Saturday with Todd too, and Gobble being a future games guy.
Yeah, Gobble, another guy excited to see again. Had a solid outing at future games. But it's two guys that's kind of under the radar for me that I'm kind of excited to see. Chase Brindisi from Kellum and Isaac Eller from Jefferson Forest. Some guys, they've impressed us throughout the summer. Just get another look for those guys. I think they have a chance to be pretty good down the line.
Yeah, Elder hit, and he hits and played a solid role for JF as a freshman on that team. I'll tell you one, Cade Carrier. We saw him, and I think we've talked about him a little bit before. We saw him at Valley Elite Scout Day. Undersized, compact guy. Really liked the way he just handled himself behind the plate, the way he received. He's playing infield and catching some at this event. So excited to see Carrier. I know y'all talked about most of those other guys. DJ Henry, like the way Devon Henry from Glen Allen, like the way he plays the game. Seth Carter, 6'2", 190-ish pounds. He's got some juice in there. So, yeah, it's excited to see that team as well. Team 5. Cole, I'm going to come back to you. This is a young team, 2028, 2029 team. But it looks like it could be pretty exciting.
Yeah, and sorry if you can hear this random dude talking about some flight that I don't even care about in the background. But I'm just going to be honest. I keep it real. I'll just keep it real.
That may be part of their job description, though. They may actually have to do that.
They'll be all right. Yeah, I mean, first I'll start with the arms, just the underclassmen arms that I see just a part of this team. You start with Pup Gardner, a guy that I haven't personally seen since super sophomore. He came down to Salisbury for a weekend, but didn't throw in that weekend. He's been in the upper eights. The bat continues to get better, so I'm interested to see what the hit tool looks like for Pup Gardner heading into the weekend. You look at a guy who just pitches and gets outs, and that's Brandon Toadvine. Probably will sit inside of the low 80s, but has been up inside the mid 80s so far this fall. Excited to see if there's some velo jump there. Just a lot of, overall guys. You want to talk about another Spalding guy, you've got Caleb Lambert. Spalding's 28 and 29 class. They may not have the super power guys that they may have had in previous classes outside of Marl, but they have a lot of guys who put the ball in play and get on base. I know just in terms of Virginia guys, I see Brody Snelson's on this team. That's definitely a guy that stood out to me throughout the summer. I got to see him a couple of times just down at tournaments and down at super sophomore. So definitely a young team, but definitely a lot of intrigue with this team as they head into the weekend.
This team gives me and I can't speak for the Maryland guys. I haven't really seen those guys, but scrappy, just kind of battle. Like Cooper Crabtree, Logan Everett, the Roberti brothers, Anthony Turner, Dominic Webb, Austin Westcott, Chase Cathy, all those guys, Landon Buracker, tough ABs, and just can do a little bit of everything. Like Turner, saw him during the high school season. I think we saw him in tournaments this summer as well, or this fall. And I'm not sure positionally long term. I think we had that discussion, Jordan, during the high school season, but I'm not sure positionally. But every at bat he comes up, he seems to be on barrel. Doesn't really matter the arm that he faces. Crabtree hits, Logan Everett hits, the Roberti brothers. It's been a minute since I've seen them. I think I saw them probably late last spring or early in the summer when they were in some tournaments. But undersized guys, smaller frame, it's a couple of these guys that are like that, but they just hit. They just play. A couple left-handed bats in here. It just gives me scrappy-ish vibes.
Yeah, I'll take it.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I think the scrappy vibe actually works well with the Maryland guys as well. You look at Puck Gardner, which doesn't, it's not an overwhelming physical frame, but like Cole said, he ran the fastball up to I think 88 at super sophomore games, and how 88 comes out of that frame, I'm still wondering. The older brother Lion Gardner was extremely impressive throughout the high school throughout his high school career. Puck looks like he's kind of filling those shoes extremely well. You look at Brandon Toadvine, like Cole said, he's not going to blow you away necessarily with the velo yet, but he knows how to pitch. It's an ultra competitive left-hander there. And then Bryce Crandall for me out of Southern High. I really liked him at a Rawlings A Scout Day this fall. Uh, Highly athletic infielder, can impact the game on both sides. So I really like Bryce Crandall. So a lot of fun here with this team five. You look at Caleb Lambert. I love that frame, 6'4", 195. That a little bit of two-way there as well. So a ton of intrigue here out of the Maryland guys, like Cole kind of talked about.
All right, we gotta pick this up a little bit, or Cole's gonna be on this flight. So, all right, we're gonna go to Team 6. I'll take this first, and then I'll pass it over to you, Jordan. Two things that stand out, or two players, I guess, that I'm excited to see on the mound are Ragsdale and Anderson. And I think because they have a little bit of similarity, they pitch with a little bit of edge. They pitch a little bit of edge. They got a little oomph to them when they're out there on the mound. And I kind of like that at times. And so I'm excited to see those two on the mound. Jordan, anything? Oh, Hudson Large from Abingdon. It's kind of going to be my first look of him. So excited for that one. But Jordan, take it from there.
Yeah, a guy that impressed me throughout the fall is Joseph Pinto, 2029 from Riverbend. Long, wiry frame, left-handed swing. Seems kind of like a hit tool bat. He definitely impressed me. I saw plenty of video throughout the fall. And then just seeing Garner Hedrick again, physical left-handed bat, I think has some power upside down the road for him. So those are two guys that I'm excited to see off this team.
Josiah Pulling, hitter. Jamie, anything to add there?
Yeah, Team 6, you got AJ Pass. We've seen AJ a ton over this summer. I like that hit tool. I like the power upside there. You got Isaiah Priester, you got Connor Huang. So a couple Maryland guys here that have some intrigue, especially in that younger class, in that 28-29 class. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing those three.
All right, Team 7. We got a pretty good contingency here, Jamie, of Maryland guys on this team. We talked about McGuire Moore a little bit earlier. You got some big physical Virginia guys, and especially like Josh Elmore and Fitz McClure, Braden Vandesand from Walsingham. Again, we're still in the 28s, a lot of 28s, and we're talking 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". So just good size players. Jamie, anything that jumps out? This is a Maryland heavy team.
Yeah, McGuire Moore definitely at the top there, and like I already talked about him a little bit earlier, but really like that bat and the versatility there. You look at Mason Walsh as well, a guy that impressed us at some Salisbury tournaments this summer. I know Cole was pretty high on him at a Mount St. Joe, 6'2", 168 there with some athleticism and some power upside. Michael Gorski, a guy that stood out to me last spring at McDonough, 2027, 6', 165. I like that hit tool. You got Isaac Morrow, a ton of physicality there, 6', 185 in that 28 class. Peter Yarnell out of Hammond. I like that hit tool as well. So yeah, like you said, a ton of Maryland talent here. And then George Kropp, a guy that we've seen ever since he was an 8th grader out of that 28 class out of BCC. A guy that has impressed us over the years as well. So like you said, a ton of Maryland talent. One more, Sam Wilk, technically DC out of St. John's, but we took Sam down to the JFG. I believe, Cole, is that correct? He was down there with us in Georgia. So Sam Wilk there out of St. John's, we really like that athleticism too. So a ton of guys that we are familiar with out of Maryland, Delaware, and a ton of fun throughout this team, Team 7.
Jordan, Team 8. We got some guys in here. I like some of the catching talent with Smith and Pickersgill. what else do you see out of Team 8 that jumps out to you?
Yeah, you have 2028 Will Cameron, just a fiery competitor. What else at the plate on the mound? Kid competes. Tony Smith, one of my favorite bats in the 28 class, just competes, put quality ABs together. I like his pace in the infield. So I think this is going to be another scrappy group. Got Daniel Hochter as well from Stewart. So some scrappy guys in that lineup as well that just want to compete.
Saw some video on the Heinzer, and maybe that's where we got mixed up yesterday. He wasn't there yesterday. Maybe he was a pushover, not a pushover, but he was a move over to state games from uncommitted games. But Heinzer, I saw some video of the swing. I think Jalen might have seen him at Dale or something like that back in a few weeks ago. But anyway, I saw a few videos of the swing. Really liked the way the swing, just got the operation of it. So it'd be good to get a chance to see him. We got some arms from the beach area and from Nova that are going to throw for Team 8. So yeah, Team 9. Team 9, Jamie, Jordan, either of you, this one looks a little bit Virginia heavy as well. Jamie, you got a few Maryland guys mixed in there. Anything you want to add on?
Yeah, big one for me, Corey Queen, out of St. Charles High School, 2026, down there in Southern Maryland, which I think Corey Queen may have just transferred out of St. Charles, but highly athletic two-way. We saw him at a scout day right at the beginning of the summer. Explosive, physical, really like Corey Queen, love the fastball and the bump. Gabriel Daraj, another guy that we've seen a ton, pretty much ever since his 8th grade year as well, out of Delaney High School. In that 27 class, 5'10", 167, athletic infielder that we've liked. But those are my two guys here throughout Team 9 that I'm definitely excited to see.
For me,
Jordan?
2027 Noah Wontuck, he definitely impressed throughout the fall. There's a compact frame. It's a heavy barrel. The hit tool shows up in game. Then you got Bo Bloxham. I think it's a projection arm. I really, really like the changeup. He shows some nice feel for that. So those are a couple of guys that I'm excited to see in game.
Yeah, I think is it Brecken O'Grady? I think it's a name that we messed up on social media. Maybe not this past summer, but the summer or fall before, about 6,000 times. So apologies to Brecken. But we had a handful of interns that just kept putting O'Grady Brecken. And I don't know who has the first name O'Grady. But yeah, just sometimes they just lack feel. Hard workers just lack feel. But I know he's a guy from Lafayette down in the Williamsburg area who tends to put some good ABs together. Jordan Fitchett, that's the same we saw yesterday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Athletic. Yeah. Athletic guy, wiry frame, some tools there. So he definitely impressed yesterday for sure.
Yeah, I think he ran like a 6'7" yesterday. Good runner, long, lanky frame. All right, Cole, it's your time to shine. Team 10. What we got, Cole?
Yeah, again, I'll start on the arm side. You see a couple seniors taking the bump, a lot of Eastern Shore guys. You got uncommitted 26 Hayden Alston, who will run the fastball into the mid-80s, just competes, pitches, works 3 pitches for strikes. And then you have Brock Groh, one of the top arms from the Eastern Shore this spring, started the state championship game for St. Michael's. So definitely some guys to key in on there. But then you look at, we talk about, a little Virginia heavy team. This is a little bit of a Maryland heavy team, especially on the offensive side. You have James Bowman, a guy who Jamie already kind of went into, but really impressed him yesterday at the Last Chance ID. You look at another guy who Jamie's been really high on this summer, and that's Dalton DePriest out of Calvert Hall. There's a little bit of two-way there, runs it into the low 80s, but finds ways to get on base. You have the DeVito brothers who have shown some power. The power uptick continues to get better as they go on, as we continue to see them. Honestly, I think their biggest happy, Jamie, you'll remember this, but the thing they'll be most glad about is they won't have a black shirt this event. Because I think they've got about 7 of them now, so they finally got something other than black. And then, you have Arrington Price, an A-plus baseball academy kid, a guy who we really have gotten a chance to see progress over the last 2 years and has really impressed at times for us. And then you have Gavin Wilcox, another JFG alum from 2024. Got to see him this summer a little bit, caught a couple barrels. Definitely some really intriguing guys for Maryland from really on both sides of the ball here. I think this is going to be a really interesting team to watch. You've got uncommitted seniors, you've got 2028s. It's a bit of a mix. So you're mixing kind of old with young here.
Yeah. And Jordan, I'll let you touch on the Eberts brothers if you want, the two Powhatan guys. But Elijah Marshall, left-handed arm, some pitchability there, some ceiling. John Champ High School guy. I'll be interested to see him throw on Sunday. But Jordan, you want to touch on anything on the Eberts brothers?
Yeah, got a chance to see them here in the back end of the fall. Dylan, I think he has really some high upside on the mound. Long levers, has to feel the pitch, mix pitches, get outs. Evan as well, hit tool, can impact the baseball a little bit. But another guy for me, that Cole Opsgarden, 99% sure that's Chase Opsgarden's younger brother, can work into the mid 80s. So excited to see him as well in game.
Yeah, I like Evan can defend a little bit in the infield. I like some of his defensive ability. Like you said, Dylan on the mound. I know you said, did you see him last spring on the mound? Is that right, at Powhatan as a freshman?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So I think, I agree with you. I think there's some upside on the mound there. So excited to get those two in there. We're going to move to Team 11. Jordan, I'll go over to you first. Jamie, Jordan, I'll let you touch on it first. There's a pretty heavy Maryland team as well. But Jordan, anything that stands out? You got, and I'll be honest, I haven't seen Holstrom, but 6'4", 195 Walsingham. So it's a good frame for 2028. But I know there's a few guys in here. Nathan Duncan, you may throw him out 6'7", 185 for 2028. What do you got on Team 11?
Yeah, a pair of two of left-handed arms that I'm excited to see. Like I said, Nathan Duncan, long, wiry frame. He shows some feel to land a breaking ball for strikes. So I think that as he continues to get stronger, there's some exciting upside with the fastball, getting an uptick in velo. Then Landon Garland as well. Just ability to pitch, mix, attack the zone. So those are two left-handed arms I'm pretty excited to see on this team.
Yeah, another one we saw yesterday, Rayleigh Carter, Dinwiddie, thin, lighter frame. I like the way he handled himself in the infield. The offense is solid bat to ball. It'll continue to grow as he adds some strength and matures physically. And I guess I'm probably a little bit biased, not necessarily on the Dinwiddie side, but I got a chance to and I knew the name, I just couldn't place it. But back when I was teaching, a few moons ago, he was in the middle school, and phenomenal kid. There were some challenging students there at the school. Fortunately, he was not one of them. So I know that there's some there was some maturity at a younger age and some act right. So I'm sure it's only gotten better. So there's some character upside there with Rayleigh. And like I said, I like some of the defensive ability that we saw yesterday. Jamie, Maryland heavy group. Cole, I don't know if you want to weigh in as well if you're looking at any of it, but take it away.
Yeah, I'll start with the Folda brothers, Bryce Folda, Logan Folda, both at the Last Chance ID on Sunday, and both of them impressed. Bryce Folda, big time arm there out of the 29 class, went down to JFG this past summer and tore it up, lit it up through, I think, 5 innings, just shut down. I forget what state it was, but really shut down that offense there. So Bryce Folda, really looking forward to seeing that arm once again this weekend. You got Drew Bitterman, some upside there we've seen ever since he was an 8th grader. Landon Gemmel, a two-way that impressed us this summer, has impressed us over the past few months. Really looking forward to seeing him down there as well. Mateo Paquette, a ton of Maryland guys on this team that we've seen over the past few months, really impressed us throughout the summer. and really looking to make an impression this weekend coming up.
Cole looks like he has no intention of adding on to that team, so we're just going to go to Team 12.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
My bad.
You're probably calling your phone for you to board now anyway.
It actually just got delayed, so.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, not looking great right now.
All right, Cole, while I have you,
Continue.
Team 12 has some Maryland players as well. You're talking about a few more Spalding guys, OLGC, Georgetown Prep. Any of those guys that jump out to you that you might want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll actually start with Gianni Heidenberg out of Spalding. It's a guy that we have not seen in a pretty good while. I would say at least over a year since we've seen Gianni. I think it's going to be it's really our first look here, like I said, in a while. So I'm really excited to see him. Also, AJ Dove. It's a guy we saw in the preseason and that we liked out of St. Michael's. Low 80s arm, gets it done a little bit at the plate. Probably going to hover around that 7 or 7-1 runner. So definitely a guy to look at. And then a couple guys that I have not personally seen, but Jamie's seen a little bit of. You look at guys like Reese Roscoe, Peter Buxa, and Chase Gass, guys who I haven't seen super in-depth looks. So this is a team I'm really interested in watching, just based on the fact that I haven't really gotten to see get a bunch of eyes on a majority of these players out of Maryland.
Yeah, Jason, I'll go. I'll kind of cut you off. Peter Buck's a guy that I've seen a ton of video, but haven't really seen a ton in person. A little lighter on the physical maturity side, but really like that swing, like the bat path. Reese Roscoe, we've seen a ton of video on, but I'm kind of in Cole's boat here with Team 12. It's a ton of exciting talent here, but guys that we haven't seen a ton of in-depth numbers on or seen them at a ton of events. So I'm really looking forward to following around Team 12 because there's a ton of talent here, but not a lot of guys that we've seen really in person. So we know AJ Dove, a ton of explosion there, really like the athletic frame. And then Gianni Heidenberg that Cole touched on as well. So a lot of intrigue here out of Team 12. Like the athleticism. I think there's a ton of athletic makeup here. So definitely looking forward to seeing them this weekend.
Jordan, anything to finish things off here? You got a guy like Huff who brings some pitchability to the table. Young 2028 arm who just seems to get outs and just turn in good performances. Gary Barton, a Gonzaga guy, is probably one that you wanted to touch on. But anything else?
Yeah, Barton can get it done with the bat, so excited to see him show some success in game. But another guy that I had a chance to see later this fall, 2029, Reese Jones, left-handed pitcher. I saw him in game. He showed some success with the fastball and game. So excited to see him again and see what he can do.
All right, gentlemen, anything else to add? We were an hour and 3 minutes, which is not terrible for all that we covered. Anything else to add before we kind of wrap things up and all these rosters change with 27 drops?
Yeah, looking forward to that. Jason and I getting on the phone, every single night going through these rosters. Jason has done a great job putting these rosters together, and then going back and scrapping everything is a ton of fun. So, no, looking forward to this weekend. Like we talked about at the beginning of the pod, the immense talent that we get down here is always fun to watch. And the Maryland Delaware guys that get a chance to get down here and play against some upper echelon Virginia guys, it's a ton of fun to see. So looking forward to getting down there and getting there Friday night into the weekend.
I know Jason just saw the same thing I did. We just got an email of a drop.
Yeah,
we just got a drop.
There you go.
Oh, that is the story.
Out of Maryland.
That is a story of state games and people's ability to plan so well. I'll probably stop there because I don't want to go down that path because it'll get ugly. Bro, for the life of me, Oh man.
Perfect timing. So, yeah, I mean, and that's what we've dealt with, and that's what we deal with every year. But we've had another guy doing it for us, so now it's on our plate. So, no, I mean, it's. I'm just looking forward to seeing the talent, and we'll move on from there.
Yeah, it's probably best to just mute everyone and turn the pod off. Just don't want to be a fly on the wall after I hit end recording. But all right, well, man, it was such a great pod, and then I should have never opened that email. Should have never, Cole. We should have never looked at the email while we were on here, because it is such a sour ending to such a great pod, talking about such a great event with all the great players that show up. All right, appreciate everybody joining us. Thank you. We will see hopefully most of you on Saturday and Sunday. Thank you all. Have a great one. See you next time.